we were pushing for clean energy resolutions to, again, sort of make a plan for Georgia by 2050 to put in place clean energy. That was a resolution that was dropped, but it didn't receive a hearing. So we're going to continue to push for that for the future. We had also pushed for legislation revolving around community solar, and there was a House bill and a Senate bill, and neither one of those went forward. They were in committee and they did not receive a vote on either side. So we're going to continue to push for that, because that is, that's really, really important. And I feel very strongly about community solar, because this is another one that not only helps people with their bills. Essentially, you're going to get a credit on your bill, and it's for people who would not normally be able to opt into solar. So you could put solar panels on your house if you have a house that is great for solar, but this is for people who might be in apartments, or their house isn't right. So this is great, but there's, it's two issues there. One, you wouldn't normally, because you're in an apartment or a place that isn't great for it. But the other thing is the psychology behind that. You're allowing people to now opt in to a larger movement and get the feels from that. And I think the psychology behind that is so, so important. It is allowing people, not a lot of people can get EV cars because they are so priced out of that, or they're not able to drive cars, period. But think about the psychology behind, oh, I get to be part of the clean energy movement and how nice that feels. There's an opting in, getting to be part of that. That's psychological. And I think we need to start thinking of things in those terms. And rather than it's for a certain kind of person, this is for everybody. No, we need to start letting everyone be a part of it and thinking of how can we make it possible? And community solar is one of those things. And that's why I believe so strongly in it. So that's another one that we'll be trying to push for again next session. The other ones were data centers. There was a great data center bill that we called pay to play, which would help people with their bills, essentially, because as we get more data centers, and we are not against data centers because they're coming. I'm on a cell phone right now, which is, part of data center. All of us are using data centers. But this would reduce the burden. It's going to make data centers pay for their own operational costs. And that's so, so important, rather than pushing that burden onto the people, onto ratepayers, people who are paying bills. It's going to make the people who are building the data centers pay for it themselves. And the other one is the PSC bill, which is bringing back it's a Consumer Utility Council bill, and it's bringing back a Consumer Utility Council, which we used to have. And this is a legal advocate for consumers, for ratepayers, and for small businesses. So this would be somebody to advocate for ratepayers when there are things like rate hikes. And PSC has somebody to do that. Why shouldn't we? And that's why we're advocating for it, because you need somebody on your side in court cases. And essentially that's what the CUC would do. There was a good bill that got passed, which is EV related, and it extends an exemption for the new EV tax that is going to go into effect. And that was HB 652. And so on the very last day of session on sine die, that was passed at the very last minute. And so we were super excited to see that exemption extended for one more year. So that'll go into effect in 2027 is the effective date now for the tax. So that was a good thing that happened.